He was born into luxury, yet felt an emptiness that no gold could fill. Siddhartha Gautama, a prince surrounded by comfort, privilege and beauty, had everything that most people spend their lives chasing. And yet, one simple truth haunted him. Why, with all this, am I still not free? The palace walls were meant to protect him from the world's ugliness, from age, from sickness, from death. But no wall can protect the mind from its own questions. One day, he stepped outside and saw what his father had hidden from him. An old man, a sick man, a corpse. And finally, a monk, serene, detached, unbroken by the storm. That day, a seed was planted. He realized that life, even in its richest form, was woven with suffering, and no pleasure, no possession could truly erase it. So he walked away, not from wealth, but from illusion. He left the palace, the comfort, the crown, to seek the truth that comfort had buried. The story of the Buddha begins not with perfection, but with disillusionment. He wasn't searching for heaven, he was searching for understanding, and that is the beginning of every true awakening. The moment when comfort no longer satisfies, and truth becomes the only thing worth pursuing. When Siddhartha left his palace, he didn't find peace, he found extremes. He lived with ascetics, starving his body, denying every comfort. And yet, just like indulgence, this too brought him no liberation, only more suffering. That's when he saw the truth. Both pleasure and pain can enslave the mind. One traps us with comfort, the other traps us with pride, but both are still traps. We live this every day. We chase what feels good. We run from what feels bad. And in doing so, we remain prisoners of both. The Buddha called it tanha, craving, not just for pleasure, but for control, identity, certainty, the craving to hold on to what must change, and to change what must be accepted. The Stoics would later echo this same wisdom. It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things. Desire and aversion, two sides of the same chain. Freedom doesn't lie in clinging or rejecting, it lies in seeing. Seeing clearly how the mind builds its own prison, out of what it loves and what it fears. If this resonates with you, pause for a moment. Reflect. What is it that keeps you bound? Is it something you chase or something you resist? That awareness is where liberation begins. If you're finding value in this journey, take a moment to subscribe. Not as an act of support, but as a commitment to your own awakening. Because the more we awaken together, the clearer the world becomes. The Buddha's insight went deeper than pain, deeper than pleasure. He saw that desire itself, craving, attachment, longing, was the silent architect of suffering. He called it dukkha, the restlessness that haunts even the happiest moments. You finally get what you wanted, and before you can even enjoy it, fear whispers, "What if I lose it?" Every desire carries its own shadow. We crave love, but fear rejection. We crave success, but fear failure. We crave permanence in a world that never stands still. This is the wheel the Buddha saw turning endlessly, and we bound to it, mistaking motion for progress. Desire keeps us alive, yes, but also asleep. It pulls us outward into chasing, clinging, competing, until the inner world falls silent, unheard. That's the real prison, not the walls around us, but the ones built by our own wanting. And here lies the paradox. Freedom is not in getting what you want, it's in seeing why you want it. What are you chasing right now? And what feeling do you think it will bring you? Because until you see that clearly, you'll always be a servant of that unseen master. If this reflection speaks to you, share this video with someone who's also searching. It may be the reminder they didn't know they needed. And as always, stay with us, because the path to freedom continues deeper. Beneath the Bodhi tree, Siddhartha sat. Not as a prince, not as an ascetic, but as a man who refused to run anymore. He vowed, "I will not rise until I see the truth." No teacher, no scriptures, no promises, only stillness and himself. And there, in the depths of that stillness, the illusions began to dissolve. Every memory, every fear, every craving, they surfaced one by one, and he watched them without resistance. That was his battle. Not with the world, but with his own mind. For enlightenment is not found in the sky. It is found in the shadows we dare to face. This was the night he met Mara, the embodiment of temptation, fear, and doubt. And yet Siddhartha did not fight him. He simply saw him. He looked Mara in the eyes and said, "I see you." And with that, Mara vanished. When morning came, the man who opened his eyes was no longer Siddhartha. He was the Buddha, the awakened one. Awakening was not an escape. It was a return to reality as it truly is, no longer filtered by craving, fear, or illusion, just pure seeing, pure being. And this is what the Stoics would call living in accordance with nature. To see clearly, to accept wholly, to act wisely. Take a deep breath right now. Feel the space between your thoughts. That stillness, however brief, is where your own awakening begins. If this moment resonates with you, click join below, because this isn't just a video. It's a shared journey of awakening, each of us under our own Bodhi tree. Before enlightenment, Mara appeared, not as a demon outside, but as every shadow within. Doubt, desire, fear, ego, the same forces that visit each of us when we stand at the edge of transformation. Mara whispered, "Who are you to think you can awaken? You are just a man, nothing more." And isn't that the same voice that haunts us all? The one that says, "You're not enough, you'll fail, stay comfortable." But the Buddha didn't argue. He didn't fight back. He simply said, "I see you, Mara." Recognition, that was his weapon. Awareness dissolves illusion, because what we see clearly can no longer control us. Mara never truly disappears. He returns in new forms, in the pride that comes with success, in the fear that follows failure, in the noise of our own restless minds. But every time you recognize him, you reclaim your peace. Even Marcus Aurelius, centuries later, echoed this truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The war is always internal. The battlefield is always the self, and awakening is not a single moment. It is a daily victory of awareness over illusion. So, the next time doubt visits, don't suppress it. See it, name it, and smile, because you've met your Mara, and you're still sitting beneath your own Bodhi tree. If this resonates with you, comment with the word aware. Let's see how many of us are choosing to face our Maras, not with fear, but with understanding. After his enlightenment, the Buddha didn't preach renunciation. He revealed balance. He called it the middle way, the path between excess and deprivation, indulgence and denial. He had tasted both extremes, the luxury of a palace and the austerity of self-torture. Neither led to peace, because peace lives in the center, where clarity meets compassion. It wasn't about escaping the world, but engaging with it, consciously. The middle way wasn't moderation out of fear, it was freedom born of understanding. The realization that nothing external, not pleasure, not pain, defines your inner state. And here, Stoicism mirrors Buddhism perfectly. Epictetus said, "Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desires, but by removing the need for desire." Both paths teach that mastery of life begins with mastery of the self. When you are neither controlled by indulgence nor crushed by restraint, you finally act, not react. Ask yourself this: where are you living in extremes? Chasing too much or denying too much? The Buddha's wisdom, and the Stoics too, invite you to walk the narrow road of awareness, to meet life fully, yet remain unshaken. If this message speaks to your journey, leave a plant in the comments. A small symbol of balance, stillness, and growth. Enlightenment did not make the Buddha withdraw from the world. It brought him closer to it, because true mastery is not cold detachment. It is the ability to remain open, to love deeply even when the world wounds you. He saw that suffering, dukkha, touches all beings, and that wisdom without compassion is incomplete. So he became both warrior and healer. A compassionate warrior, not one who conquers others, but one who conquers himself, and then turns that victory into service. In Stoicism, this is mirrored in the virtue of justice, the duty to act for the good of all. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What is not good for the hive cannot be good for the bee." Both the Stoic and the Buddha see love not as attachment, but as alignment. The willingness to live in harmony with all beings, to wish them freedom from ignorance and pain. And this kind of love is not weakness. It's the highest form of strength. It is easy to close your heart in a world like ours. It takes courage to keep it open, so let this be your practice. When you are hurt, stay kind. When you are tested, stay still. When you are unseen, stay true, because compassion is not something you feel, it is something you become. If this touched you, share this video, not for numbers, but for hearts that need to hear it. That's how teachings live on, through you. Enlightenment is not an escape. It's not a destination on a mountain, nor a secret locked in meditation halls. It's right here, in how you breathe through an argument, how you choose silence over reaction, how you listen without judgment. The Buddha never built temples for worship. He built pathways for awareness. He showed that awakening begins, not when you leave the world, but when you learn to live in it, awake. And that's where Stoicism and Buddhism meet again. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet sought inner peace. The Buddha renounced a palace, yet found it within. Both understood that the real kingdom to master is the mind. Every sunrise is an invitation to start again. Every challenge, a mirror of your own becoming. Enlightenment isn't about light. It's about seeing clearly, even in the dark. It's not about rising above life, but walking through it, grounded, open, aware. So, whether you follow the Stoics' path of virtue or the Buddha's path of compassion, remember, both lead to the same awakening. To be fully alive, fully present, and fully yourself.